Hello, property nomads. Hope you're doing well. Got an interesting concept to look at, and that is a village heat pump. So we've spoken about heat pumps before, predominantly on the podcast. We've spoken about them on the YouTube channel as well, and the fact that in the United Kingdom, they could be quite challenging because of the way that our homes have been built and everything over time. In order to meet this, net zero challenge and all of that sort of stuff, it can be quite challenging to do that with older style homes. We still have a couple of million households that rely on oil, that have oil boilers, etc., etc. And if your home isn't insulated properly, then they could be very energy inefficient. And as we're in this stage where we're trying to push towards net zero, then we need to be seen to be doing things. So some genius has come up with a village heat pump. So in a nutshell, this is at a place called Swaffham Prior, which is so quintessentially English, it's unbelievable. It is in Eastern England. And what they have done, this is through a government grant, and we're going to get onto the cons of this moving forward. But what they've done is they have built a vast village heat pump. So this was a village that was relying on oil that's in the process of being taken away, and the heat pump itself looks like a giant dairy container. It looks like it's a very strange thing to look at. It's got big, massive silver vats. Apparently, the heat pump produces enough water to feed existing domestic systems. And by doing that, it's actually removed the need for retrofitting homes. Now, that's actually got quite a big advantage. But here's where the catch really comes. It's a 60-year funding scheme that's been approved by the government and the local council. Now, this has removed upfront costs. So it's quite funky in a way that this is being trialed. And I've got to be careful what I say, because I don't want to be coming across as being hypocritical. Because as technology improves and as people try new things, then things will more than likely get better. But the challenge with net zero and the challenge with retrofitting or building these sorts of systems is that ultimately the customer or the homeowner, they're going to pay the bill one way or another. And we're going to find that out in a bit. But I will say kudos to the local council and the government for actually trialing this to see how this works. This could be quite a game changer for more rural communities. The article says that so they give a big bash to the government about them not, the government aren't doing enough, etc., 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 yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Well, they said that when the council were dealing with the people of Swaffham Prior, is that they found that the minute they were saying to them that there were no upfront costs, then people were not necessarily jumping on board, but they were a lot more amenable to the idea. Because if we say to you, or I said to you, look, hey, by the way, you need to decarbonize your home, you need to do some retrofit work to your home, and I say, by the way, it's going to cost you £20,000. Now, if you've got £20,000 in the bank, you might not want to do that. You might want to go on holiday with your kids. You might want to have that as your rainy day fund. You might want to use that for other purposes, and you're well within your right to do so. So it comes back to the same old adage of environmental economics all sound okay until someone gets a bill for it. You tell someone they've got to retrofit their home, or they've got to, put more insulation in, or all that sort of stuff, and you give them a 5-figure bill, you're probably going to be told where to go, and not in a polite manner. Now, going back to this article, it says that what happens here is that through research, they found that one large network would be more efficient than individual heat pumps, and it would be more cost effective, hence the community approach. A lack of upfront payment from the tenants or the residents, meant that people were more willing to sign up. That's not a surprise. But this is where it gets funny, because the cost of this was £12 million. And this was partly covered by a £3 million government grant. Again, we talk about government being efficient or inefficient with resources. Yeah. The local council secured that grant, so fair play to them. But it will also be repaid via household bills over 60 years. To help the switch, the bills are index linked to be in line or less than the cost of heating oil, and will be in time be indexed to the price of electricity. Now, I don't know about you, but the cost of my electricity has soared through the roof. Why? Because we haven't got the right structures in place. The grid is lagging. It needs a lot of work doing to it from an infrastructure point of view. We're not producing enough nuclear energy to power the grid, so we need to be doing more of that. And because of the way that our government has reacted to Russia and imports, and the fact that we're so energy reliant on other people, I don't know about you, but my electric bill certainly got a lot higher in the last couple of years. So what will happen is, yes, these people are going to be grabbed by the short and curlies, and their electric bills are probably going to soar through the roof. And that's exactly how people are going to be paying that back in the future. Hey ho. And also, this isn't a one solution fits all. To be fair, the article does go on to say that the village has 2 churches, 2 windmills, and around 300 houses. Apparently, more than 60 people are already connected to the heat pump, which apparently uses a combination of air source heat pumps and ground source heat pumps. And apparently more than 35 are ready to be added, and others are weighing up whether to join. So from an overall point of view of trying something new and giving it a go, I give kudos here to the government and the local council, and for the residents for being able to do that. But we cannot rule out that a lot of people would have done this because they're not being faced with an upfront cost. So I'm sure you and I would be in the similar boat if we were told about a high upfront cost or not. And secondly, the fact that these residents are going to be paying that sum back over the next 60 years, and that's going to be indexed to electric bills, admittedly to oil at the moment, that's probably going to work out quite badly for them, because I pretty much guaranteed you the cost of that electric is going to go sky high for a multitude of government reasons and a multitude of things to do with the grid simply being inadequate, but also the fact that we're in this situation where the priority of the national grid or whatever is shareholders. So don't even get me started on the standing charge either. I refer back to my wife, who had an electric bill come through a while ago, and it was £7 for 2 months. Admittedly, that's Mexico, but £7 in 2 months. And what made that worse was the fact that she moaned at the bill for saying it was too expensive, because apparently it's normally cheaper than that. So yeah, so we get our pants pulled down properly here in the UK. And if we're going to get our pants pulled down, we might as well get them pulled down properly. But yeah, I will give a bit of credit here to the government and the council for trying something new, and it could be a solution for certain parts of the UK population. But ultimately, they're going to be the people that lose out as well, because they're going to have to pay that back through these higher bills. And, you know, that's really not going to end very well for anyone moving forwards. 2 small favours to ask. Number one, please subscribe to the Property Nomads YouTube channel. Please subscribe to this channel. Use that notification bell to get notified when new video content comes out. Also, for even more property related and property specific content, head over to the Property Nomads podcast. We are on iTunes, Spotify, all sorts of podcast platforms. So please do go and subscribe over there as well. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next video.